Good morning. Good morning. Still a little bit sick, got a little bit of cough, spitting some of that juice up. That and that forever lube, spitting it up. Some nasty stuff, man. Being whatever this strand of cold or flu or whatever this stuff is nasty. And it's spreading everywhere. So we have a few more towns have come forward and said, "What's up? Good morning." Um, we have a few more towns that have joined the Chicago. Well, I wish I could say Chicago was the first one to put the ordinance in place when it came to um, trying to at least somewhat mitigate the amount of buses coming into the city to drop migrants off for, asylum, which we all know is not asylum. They're just saying that just to get the paperwork approved. Um, I think it was Rosemont. Rosemont, Illinois was like the first town to actually crack down, and the mayor there in Rosemont say you can't. Like Chicago was already talking about it, but Rosemont actually put it into play first or something like that, and said we're going to start impounding buses. Driver can go to jail, $750 a head. We're going to adopt the talked about policy that Chicago is going to use, and they went ahead and put it into effect. And then Chicago was after it, and then other towns and stuff are doing the same thing. But we just had Tuesday night, Hinsdale, Joliet, North Chicago, Buffalo Grove, and Woodstock held council meetings to address the situation. And the council members in all 5 suburbs unanimously approved their proposed ordinances. In Hinsdale, it says they've received 11 migrant buses in the last 11 days. New arrivals were dropped off at the village's metro station, where they boarded trains to Ogilvy. Now bus companies that show up in Hinsdale announced they will be looking at $750 per passenger fine. Hinsdale does not have the resources to handle the situation, even in good weather. We were initially told that the inflow of buses to Hinsdale would last for 7 days. But we've recently been advised by a bus driver that unless we do something, these buses will keep coming unannounced at least through March. March. Why is March so important? Why do you think at least until March? What do you remember just happened not too long ago? That why is March such a key month for this all of a sudden to come to a stop? Why would that be a projected slowdown date? Any of you remember what recently happened? In March is when Governor Abbott is putting into effect it's like his own ban on migration. Like it was, what was it, like S4 and S3? There was like different versions of the new law that's going into place in Texas come March of 2024, and a lot of those new laws are the ones that Governor Abbott just wrote in. Um, Look, guys, look, there's 150 of you on here, and obviously I just see somebody right here. Why should Texas keep all the grifters? Nobody's saying that you guys should keep all the grifters. But what you're doing doesn't solve a problem for anybody either. By shipping people out of Texas to all these other states and stuff like that doesn't solve anybody's problem. All you're doing is taking a problem and spreading it out and allowing more room for people to come in. Nobody's saying that you should have to foot the bill for this. Nobody's saying that it's right. Nobody has been saying. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you right now, we never understood the magnitude of what you guys were dealing with because it's out of sight, out of mind. Let's talk about the reality of what you guys are dealing with. It was something that you guys were able to contain for years before making everybody else aware of what was going on. And you did a great job of it. but it was out of sight, out of mind. It wasn't something that was directly affecting anybody else in the rest of the United States. If we use some common logic here and stop trying to be defensive on everything and speak from a factual, realistic standpoint, you'll see that your emotion is making you speak certain things instead of being realistic about it. We didn't see what was going on with you guys for years because it never affected us. I mean, in a minute form, it did. So nobody's saying Texas should, oh my God, Texas has to do everything. No, nobody's saying that. Texas is also not innocent either. Through information that's being put out and stuff like that, Texas has also made a lot of money off of these migrants. Let's not make Texas out to be some super innocent state. I'm not saying that you guys should, foot the bill for these grifters. But what I am saying is there's more going on than what you guys know. And we see it now. We feel it. We're here with you. We're dealing with it too. But nobody needs to get their gloves on and say, well, let's fight. I'm going to defend Texas. Texas doesn't need to be defended. They're defending themselves right now by sending these migrants all over the United States and showing people what they're dealing with. But we don't need to make special accommodation for people in the comment section that want a special acknowledgement for Texas and stuff like that. Trust me, we're all in this now. We're all dealing with it together. Nobody deserves special acknowledgement or anything now. Now we're all in the shit. So let's stop like the, hey, I want to one-up you card, or hey, we're all dealing with it. We're all at some kind of capacity. See, Texas had the capacity to deal with what they've dealt with this long without making it everybody else's problem. They obviously did it. And now it's everybody else's problem because they can't continue to do it alone anymore. Well, now we're filling up our share of what we can deal with, and now we're voicing what we're going through. This is a thing that we're both sharing right now. So nobody needs to be bigger or badder or compare more to the other. That's all ridiculous. That's a bunch of that's childish stuff. We're all in it together. We all should sympathize together now, and we're all having to foot the bill and deal with this, just like each other. So let's stop all the nonsense about, oh, don't you feel bad for us and stuff. Yeah, I do. And it's felt bad and it's gone. Just like that quick, because I'm dealing with it right now. I'm dealing with it every day. So I'm not in the least bit interested in being more sympathetic for another state versus my own right now. Yeah, it sucks that Texas had to deal with it for this long, but now we're all dealing with it together. And I'm not mad at Abbott for doing what he did or what he's doing. I think if Abbott really wanted to, he could have stood up to the government, being that he is the governor of Texas, and shut the border down and said, if you guys want to play hardball, let's play hardball. Shut it down. You don't want to give me federal aid, you don't want to give me help and stuff like that, then you've given me no choice. Shut it down, because if I'm not getting help with this, there ain't nobody coming in my state. He is the governor. Shut it down. Who cares if the government comes after him? At that point, he's created enough scene and drawn up enough energy where he'll probably get what he wants. Because you know why? It's a money game at the end of the day. And I don't know how many people I've heard from Texas say, well, we don't care if Abbott's making money off of it. At least he's sending everybody else, some of the migrants too. How selfish of a thing is that to say? Oh, let him make money on it. That's fine. At least he's sharing with everybody else. Come on. Come on, man. Anyway, on to the rest of what I was talking about. Right. No. Joyce, let me correct you. And you, on this, I'm not mansplaining to you. Let me correct you right now because it needs to be done. Nobody voted for this. Give me a second. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I had to take a phone call from a customer. So back to what I was saying with Joyce here. Joyce said somebody voted for it. I don't blame the governor. That's not his problem. They voted for these Democrats. This will teach them. Look, there were some people that didn't expect this to happen. Yes, we did hear President Biden say, "Oh yeah, I hope there's a huge influx. I hope they all come," and stuff like that. Yeah, we heard these people say this stuff. But a lot of these people didn't vote for that specifically. They've seen other things on their mind. They were thinking of other things. They were hoping for different change in different areas and stuff like that. They weren't expecting, thousands and thousands and thousands of migrants to be pushed into cities and stuff and taking over neighborhoods and trashing the roads and drugs everywhere and more crime and stuff like that. They weren't expecting all that. So this misconception that people voted for this just because certain words, do you know a lot of people don't even vote for who they're voting for based on what they're saying? It's more along the lines of what type of political party affiliation they hold over their head, whether it be Republican or Democrat or independent, whatever it is, and that's what they vote for. They vote for skin color. They vote for the way people talk. They don't, a lot of times people don't even vote for what people are saying, which is sad. As a society, we don't even research the people that are speaking to us. So it's a consequence of uneducated voting, yes, but nobody voted for thousands and thousands and thousands of illegal immigrants to be spread all over the United States and basically tanking the Social Security system and every other aid and the COVID-19 fund and everything else that people are dipping money and pulling from and stuff. Nobody voted for that. Nobody thought in their mind that if I vote for Biden, I'm voting for hundreds of thousands of migrants to be released all over the United States illegally, and this is the type of stuff that would happen. Let's be logical when we say stuff like that. Nobody voted for that shit. Nobody wanted it. They didn't think it would happen like that. So they voted the way they felt comfortable. That's it. I don't blame those people for voting that way. I didn't vote that way. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not even really a conservative. I'm more of a constitutionalist than anything. But I have conservative values, so that's why I vote conservative. It's, to me, it's the better of two evils. But at the same time, I don't like any of these assholes. Yeah, Illinois won't vote Biden again. And I wasn't trying to be rude to you either. I'm just saying that we get that so much. Like, people come on these channels so much whenever we're trying to cover news and we're trying to talk and be a part of a community, and people say, "Well, you guys voted for that. You guys voted for that. Now suck it up. Deal with it, Buttercup." Well, that means if we're dealing with it, you're also dealing with it. The more space you give Texas to put more people in Texas, as you're funneling people out of Texas, the more it takes all of our taxpayer dollars away. Not just Illinois or New York or California. It affects Texas just as much. It's compounding the effect of what's going on. And on top of that, we're shutting down. They just shut down that major train out of Mexico into the southern portion of the United States that brings a ton of goods up to the United States. They shut that down because of all of the people jumping on the trains and stuff and taking the ride from the center of Mexico forward, southern Mexico forward. So it's to the point where it's even diminishing goods. It's stopping a lot of transport coming to the United States because of what's going on. We didn't vote for that. Chicago has been a sanctuary city since 1985. Yes, but it was never used as what it is now. I don't know if you just got in here, John, but I just said that like 5 minutes ago, maybe more. I did acknowledge the fact that we do know Biden did advocate for that. He did say, I would hope when Title 42 is over that there would be a huge influx of migration just trying to come here. We heard him say it. I understand that. But a lot of people aren't listening. A lot of people, when they vote, they don't vote because they're actually paying attention. They just vote because it's a Democrat or it's a Republican or it's a person of their same color, or they talk the same, or they're from the same hood or from the same state. They don't vote based on what they're hearing and seeing. I already have mine. I've had my CCO for a long time. Yeah, I think they will. I think it's going to make it to the point where Joyce is right, where there's no more room in the city, and it's easier for them to move out to more rural areas. I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story, and I'll try to leave some names out of it, and then we'll end with that so I can get my day started. I had a lady call me up here at the shop, and she says, I live way out here, and I'm not going to say where way out here is. And she said, I'm just going to tell you right now, me and my family love what you do. We watch you every single day, and we really admire the fact that you're sticking your neck out. You're talking about the things that you are. We love watching you in the morning. She said, I'm going to give you some information that I don't want you to release my name or anything like that. We had a meeting here in my town, and we found out that your mayor in Chicago is petitioning us out here, yonder, if you know what I mean, some of you know what I mean, out yonder, to start moving migrants in on the farms. He reached out and said that he would give double the rent to the farmers that are renting out the houses and stuff like this, if we could start filling those houses up with migrants and stuff and moving them out in the sticks, moving them out yonder, and was trying to make a deal to move the people that are already renting these houses out, move them out, and move the new migrants and stuff in. And the government will foot the bill for the rent and whatever needs to be done for these houses or facilities out in Bufu that needs to be done. And they declined. They said, absolutely not. We don't want it out here. We're not going to do it. We're not going to make any kind of deal with you and stuff like that. You are not moving them out here. So, and this is like out in the middle of nowhere because of how desperate they are. And they're trying to do whatever they can to entice business owners, landowners, apartment housing owners to jump on board with this, and they're trying to throw money at them in the process of doing so. Canada already is getting their influx of them. You see what's going on in Europe? Europe is basically, Europe is not even Europe anymore. One of the only places left that has actually, did you see what Poland did? Poland surrounded their border and everything and said, no, you guys are not coming in here. We don't want you in here, and you're not welcome. And they were fighting them at the border, stopping them from coming in. It was terrible watching the police officers and the military just back and forth with these people as they were throwing stuff at them. They were taking small trees and stuff and lining them up as a battering ram and ramming through the sea wire and stuff at their border and running it right into the police officers and the military. They were getting, they were just like, 6, 7, 8 of them on a tree at a time, and they were all taking turns. So it's one of those things where it's not just a United States thing. These other countries, they actually got it worse than we do. Texas, you think they got it bad? Go over to the UK and see what's going on over there. I mean, there's literally thousands upon thousands of people in the streets in certain areas and stuff waiting to just find how they're going to get in, how they're going to receive aid and stuff like that. There was a guy with like the medical aid vest and stuff on, and he was standing up on top of this platform, and they were trying to give out food and stuff to people, and then you can look out in the sea of people, and it looked like all people from Africa. It didn't look like anybody from the Middle East. It didn't look like anybody from like Venezuela or anything like that. These look like people from like South Africa and stuff like that, or Nigeria, or whatever, in different ports, different color. Their skin was a darker complected skin that you normally wouldn't see in these other regions. And there were just thousands and thousands and thousands of them there, and they were just swarming the streets. And there were so many people in the streets that you couldn't see gaps in between people. They were all shoulder to shoulder, and this guy was standing on this platform, and he's like telling people, hey, calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down. And he's trying to pass out food and stuff to people and trying to help people. And I'm like, oh my God, we don't see anything like this here. This is absolutely crazy what these people are going through. So, Texas has it bad, yes. But when you look at the UK and you look at some of these other countries that are being affected by this, they got it way, way worse than we do. And there's even people in Australia that are like, man, we're having such a huge problem in our area right now. It's like they're just coming in just nonstop. But then other people in Australia are like, what are you talking about? We don't even know what's going on. We never heard that. So there are people in their own countries that don't even know what's going on yet. Fellas, look. Let's don't do the racial stuff on here, man. Don't say the racial slurs and stuff on here. That's not welcome here. I love all kind of people. I love black people, yellow people, brown people. I love the Venezuelans and stuff like that. I just don't want them here right now. I want them to come here legally. I don't believe in tanking an economy because of trying to care for other people when we can't even care for our own. But don't do the racial stuff here. That's not. I wasn't raised that way, and I'm not going to put up with it on this channel. This is not a racist channel by any means. So anybody that has that kind of thought process here and stuff, no. I would help out anybody from any color just as much as I would my own. Actually, I'd probably turn away from my own faster to help somebody else from another color just because I know my own backstabbed me too many damn times. But this is not that kind of channel. We don't put up with that here. I want to make E-Rocker78. I want to make him as one of my moderators. He's always here helping me out. So, thank you for being here. See, something y'all don't know about me is when I have a bad childhood. If you look up in the Chicago Tribune, you actually type in the Chicago Tribune, Chicago, 13-year-old boy, 1999, turns in parents' drugs. There's a whole article on my childhood. And it went all the way to California back when I was 13 years old. Some of the people, the OGs here already know the story. Chicago, 1999, 13-year-old boy turns in parents' drugs. This here pops up. Oh, God. Anyway, it's not gonna let me pull it up. But it's this boy leads officers to drug, turns in parents. It's a story about me, my life. And my first foster family that I was with was actually a black family on 63rd and Green. And I went to Hubbard Elementary School, which was an all-black school. I lived in an all-black neighborhood. My family, Miss Johnson, Eddie Johnson, um, she took me in and she raised me as if I was her kid, her blood. And so it was a culture shock for me because I'd never experienced love like that. I'd never experienced care like that. Every morning I got up, she would make like sweet rice and corn muffins, and she would have bacon and eggs and stuff, and she would treat me just like I was a little prince. And she'd take care of me in the morning. She'd get me to school and stuff like that. She'd make sure I was safe and taken care of. And she was a kind of a gangster of an old lady. She was a good, honest old lady, but she wouldn't let nothing happen to her family. She was head of the precinct, the CAPS program, and she would try to make change in the neighborhood as much as possible while still trying to care for children and take care of children. And she was worried that eventually, as I got older, I would start to become a product of the environment that I was in. And over 63rd and Green is not a place that you want to be, especially when you don't fit in there and your color's not the same as everybody else, and the police don't even want to patrol over there. So they eventually found another family for me to move in with, and then I moved from family to family to family to family to family. So I was in like 9 different foster homes by the time I was 17 years old, and then I became emancipated, and yeah, I became my own adult. I started working 2 jobs, dropped out of school, was working construction, blowing cellulose insulation during the day, and then at night I'd be from like noon to 4 o'clock in the morning. I was a janitor. Got my own apartment, bought a couple cars, eventually went off to the military, came back from the military, started a career in the automotive field, and I could have been a statistic, you know. I could have been a rapist or a molester or a drug user or a junkie of some kind, but I didn't want to be a statistic. And I was homeless at 13 years old before turning who I thought was my parents into the police, and they found $4.5 million worth of cocaine in the house, $250,000 worth of marijuana stashed in popcorn Christmas cans in the garage, and hundreds of sex tapes and guns and money, and yeah. So, you know, I have a little bit of a diversity when it comes to experiencing things in life and seeing things in life. A lot of people have asked me to write a book about my life to kind of, maybe it would inspire other people. The scars that I have on my body are from being beat as a kid. This here scar went all the way up into my skull. I remember when I was like 11 years old, I got up in the morning and my aunt by marriage that I thought was my mother, I got up to get all the children ready for school, my 2 little siblings ready for school. And when I was getting up, getting them ready and packing their lunches and stuff like that, she had grabbed me by the back of my head and slammed my head into the corner of the counter in the kitchen and split my skull open, or split my head open all the way up into my skull. It was bleeding down my face, and she packed it full of gauze and would change it out every couple days, and it slowly got smaller and smaller and smaller. And the day I ran away, no, yeah, the day I ran away, that morning I got up. I'd run away like 5 times, and the fifth time I ran away, I was on the streets. Um, she was going through some withdrawals, some coke withdrawals, and she didn't have anything on her at the time that she could get into because it was all being watched by the person that was actually controlling the amount that she had, because he noticed some stuff was starting to come up missing. And she had went down into the basement of the apartment building and turned the heat up all the way on the hot water heater, as hot as it could go. And she waited about an hour and took me in the bathroom and told me to strip off all my clothes, plugged the bathtub up, turned the hot water all the way on hot as much as it possibly could go, and then filled the bathtub up about 3/4 of the way. And started dunking me in the water, like forcing my head underneath like 20-30 seconds at a time, and then letting me up, and then putting me back down, and then letting me up. Anyway, eventually she drugged me out onto the floor, and I laid there like a stick. Couldn't move my body. My body was cooked, and it took a few hours for my blood to come back. And when I was able to start moving again, it took hours, even hours after that, in order for me to actually walk. And that night I ran away. That night I ran away, and I never came back. I lived on the streets for a while before going to the cops. I was homeless for about 3 months, and just going from location to location, trying to beg for food out of the back of restaurants at night, going into the Salvation Army drop boxes and trying to find clothes and stuff, hanging out with different homeless people, just so I could learn the ropes. And then eventually I went to the police and told them everything that was going on. I had scars all over my body, my head, my arms. I've got like these little prick marks where there's like chunks of skin all over me that she used to take like a meat turner for a drill, and she used to just poke me with it just enough to just poke through my skin and then stop. So it's a little bit about me. So I haven't lived a cush life. I spent 15 months in a war zone. I got to see death and destruction and people getting killed. I had a woman use me for citizenship. I didn't know she wasn't a citizen, and we got married, and after we got married, I found out that she wasn't a citizen. So after a year and a half of trying to figure out if she really did love me, which I feel like in the beginning she did, she loved my money more than anything, and was always out with her girlfriends, spending it wherever she wanted to spend it, going on trips all the time, and eventually I had to be done with that. So I got used for citizenship. She got her naturalization and then decided to quit being a wife, which I am. I have a fiance now. I'm getting married next year. I love my family. So I don't have, there's no racism in my body. There's no none of that. It's just me honestly speaking out about things that don't make sense, that need to be talked about, that other people don't want to talk about. They don't have the platform for it. They don't have the numbers to make the videos get out there so people can hear what people like us. I feel like God had a different plan for me. He gave me the military, straightened out my life a lot with the military. He gave me college and stuff like that. Um, then I was able to start turning around and paying it back to other people and teaching other people stuff and helping people out in the community and donating a lot of my money and stuff to people in the community, helping people out wherever I can. This weekend we're driving down to Tennessee. There's a single father down there with a child that doesn't have the means to get his daughter back and forth to doctor's appointments and stuff like that. So I will be taking one of my spare cars that I have and donating it to him and his family so he can actually be able to get his family back and forth to where they need to go safely. So I'll be driving 10 hours down to the Smokies, donating that car. I'm going to spend a few days there with my family and then come back. And it's a program that I put together not too long ago on the channel where I buy cheap cars and I try to fix them up a little bit, drive them for a little bit, enjoy them a little myself before I donate them to somebody else, and that's what I plan on to continue to do. I buy cheap cars that are reliable and then fix them up a little and then end up giving them to somebody else. And I just bought this Crown Vic, put nice rims and tires and everything on it. It's going to get new control arms today or tomorrow, and I'm going to drive it for a little while and then I'll end up donating it to another family. So that's where I'm at. It's a little story about me. Sorry for getting emotional and stuff like that. It rarely happens whenever specific parts of my life make me emotional. My whole story doesn't, but specific parts do. Parts that I've probably never gotten over. But it is what it is. Morning. That's why I try to help as many people as I can now. That's why I try to, just because people see conservative values in me or patriotic this or that, or it doesn't mean that I don't like to help other people. I definitely do. I love seeing somebody else smile that has went without, they don't have, or you can do something for them and change things for them. That's why I have the program that I have at work for helping people in need here to get their car fixed. It's called the Pay It Forward program, and we help elderly people, veterans, single mothers, single fathers and stuff when they can't fit the repair bills and stuff like that. I could easily come to you guys and say, hey, does anybody want to donate for this cause or something like that? And then you guys have in the past. And there's still a little bit of money left in that fund, so that's why I haven't even really come forward to say anything recently, because if I do need help, I know that fund is there to help somebody. Recently we had a lady come in here. She's a student. She's also a manager at a company, and they don't pay her a lot of money to do what she does. And she had a very sweet lady from the area, young, and she needed some extra help getting a windshield wiper motor put in her Kia, and she was short by like $150. And I was like, you know what? That's exactly what that fund is for. It's to help people like you that are trying. You're a student, you're working, you're trying to do your best, you're on hard times right now. I would love to just be able to help you if you're okay with that. And I was able to help the lady get her car fixed, take care of some of the money towards her bill, and get her back on the road safely so she can continue driving back and forth to work with no safety issues. Good morning, Bob. Preston, good morning. Are they allowed in South Bend as well? My word, my daughter might see. Well, we try to help people as much as we can here. The economy sucks right now, and it's hard for everybody. Ironwood, you're right. We need to figure out how to petition the state to listen to us, because the aldermen here don't want to listen to us. And we need to petition the state to let us vote individually without the aldermen, without just let us have our vote, and let the governor see it instead of the mayor, because the mayor is not listening to what we have to say. And let the governor see it and then change the status, and that way things will change here. Stephen, stop being a child. Chicago, you voted blue. You got what you deserve. Shut up, man. That's such an ignorant thing to say to somebody. It's not what people voted for. That's a consequence. That's a byproduct of what they voted for. But they didn't vote for that. Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Joyce. Joyce, you don't have to be careful what you say on this channel. Nobody has to be careful what they say on this channel. It's just us, a matter of speaking with each other, talking about, like, what people from here, like, you're from Texas, right? And we're from here. We don't like hearing that. I mean, it's not like anything bad's going to happen to you if you say something or whatever. That's not disrespectful what he said, but at the same time it kind of is. It's just a matter of how you interpret what's going on. It's just not a productive thing to say. Like when somebody says, when you put energy into something, if I said, okay, this cup is sitting right here, and you're like, okay, well, you put it there. So what? What did you just accomplish? Nothing. Instead of saying, hey, if that cup is sitting there, is the objective to move it over here? How are we going to get from there to over here? Let's figure it out. Let's talk. It didn't make any sense. You just wasted energy stating the obvious, but coming up with no plan to actually change the situation. So what are you even doing? You're not doing anything. You're wasting time. You can say what you want. Everybody can say what they want. But so can I. And somebody asked me the other day, they said they were asking about freedom of speech. People are pretty free to say whatever they want here, as long as it's not attacking somebody else. But your freedom of speech is between you and the government. It's not between you and another individual. If another individual doesn't want to hear what you have to say, they don't have to hear what you have to say. That's just the fact of the matter. Freedom of speech is not guaranteed between you and another person. If you actually look up what it says, it clearly says that as well. The First Amendment provides that Congress make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting free exercise. It protests freedom of speech, the press, assembly, and the right to petition the government for a readdress of grievance. The Second Amendment gives the citizens the right to bear arms. Your First Amendment is between you and the government, not between you and a social media creator or another person or whatever. That doesn't guarantee you any type of space in somebody else's life, but it does guarantee you that space in the government's life. I appreciate that. Thanks for the super chat. The last two, I appreciate it. But I'm never going to say anything to you, Joyce, about, even if you said that again, I'd be like, oh, come on. No, that's the most, but I would never kick anybody out of here for saying something like that. Now, if you came to me and said, oh, you fat pig, something, oh, yeah, you're going. That's a direct attack on somebody. There's a donate thing to the channel. I mean, that's always an option, but it doesn't. What I do is I take the money that you guys donate and I put it towards things like helping somebody in. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. I donate it to help. I'll try to help homeless people. I'll take like a homeless person out for breakfast. I'll take clothes or something to a veteran facility or something like that. I don't use it for me. I use it for building awareness on the channel and then taking that money to somebody else, helping somebody in need. The other day, one of my employees, he's up and coming. He didn't have anything before he started working here. Like, he barely was able to pay his bills, and I pay him really, really good to work here. I seen that he was a really, really good worker, and I wanted him to feel comfortable coming here and not regret working for me. And he's starting to do really good for himself. So the other day I seen him working, and I said, hey man, those boots that you got on, they look rough, man. Those boots look like they're not comfortable at all. And he said, they're not. They hurt my feet. And I said, well, you've been working for me for a while. You make good money now. You don't have enough money for the boots? And he said, I do. I just don't want to spend money on something like that when I need that money for my family. So I deal with it. I said, no. So I ordered him a nice pair of slip-on Rock Rooster boots from Amazon. They are from Amazon, but they're super comfortable. And I got a pair on. They're super comfortable. They're memory foam inside. They're slip-on, and they work excellent in the shop. And they're like 130 bucks. So I went out and I got him a pair of Rock Rooster boots, and he put them on, and he was like, "Oh my God, man, these are so nice," and he loved them, and he's been working on them every day. So I try to do stuff for people, no matter where I see them, at work, on the street. Good morning. How are you? Sick? No? Just cough? Little bit? Yeah, me too. Little cough and little pressure in my eyes. Feel a little sick here? And here. Yeah. Yeah. You want to say hi? You want to say hi? No? I have steel toe and I have non-steel toe. He prefers non-steel toe. Just like me, I prefer non-steel toe. I don't like steel toe. But I also have another pair of work boots in my car for another employee when they need it that is steel toe. So I got those as well. I got both. Cindy, are you back? Is Cindy back? Cindy is back. Here we go. So, welcome Cindy, everybody. Cindy is a person that's been a little bit of a drama show here for quite a while, on and off. Cindy has been coming here on and off, stirring up drama for a little while now. And I don't know why I allow Cindy to stay, but Cindy's still here. Cindy likes to get into the yeah, you do, Cindy. Cindy likes to get into the whole the nitty gritty of personal information. She wants to know more and why and how and demanding and I didn't do nothing wrong. I didn't do nothing wrong. I think it's almost comical sometimes, so I just let it be. If a truck rolls on your foot, yeah. Um, and not only that, I had a dude in the shop was talking to the service manager, and I'm standing on the other side of the shop, and the drive-on rack is going down, and he's talking to the service manager instead of paying attention to what he's doing, and he had his steel-toed boot under the drive-on rack, and as it came down, it was right in the corner of where the metal and stuff comes together, so it wasn't like out in the middle where it would have some more give. It was in the corner where the main part comes down. It came down and it crushed the steel toe of his boot into his big toe and partially severed his big toe. And he got rushed to the hospital, and they said that the steel toe actually helped stop the blood loss, but he lost his big toe. And he said to this day that he kind of wishes that it would have had a composite or no steel toe, just for the simple fact that there is about this much room whenever the ramp comes down all the way, but because his boots were so thick, it didn't no matter what, it was going to happen. What happened to Tom? Me and Tom were talking about some performance stuff. We wanted to see if we can possibly get him to be a little bit faster in the shop, and I was going to put him on a 3-week performance plan so I could assess and work with him. We had several meetings, and it got to the point where the speed was he just kept getting slower and slower, and we paid Tom more money than anybody in the shop, so we needed more production out of him. We weren't getting it. So what ended up happening is Tom got sick. He had like an entire week off, and during that week that he had off, which he wasn't even calling in to let me know that, some days he did or some days he didn't, but whatever, he was sick. And towards the end of the week, he called me up on the way home and said, I'm going to go back to Meineke. So he went back to Meineke, and he don't work for us no more. He just didn't think that he had what it took to move as fast as, like, the guys that we have in the shop, the guys that when we're all moving together and we're working, we're moving. And we get a lot done. Tom was different. He was a little slower paced, took a little bit more time to pick things up, which I don't mind that at all. I was willing to work with him. But other employees were like, man, it's kind of hard to work with him sometimes. And the co-owner here, he said the same thing. It's kind of hard to work with him sometimes. And I said, look, just give me some time. Give me some time. Well, I bought weeks and weeks and weeks, and everybody was kind of like, he just doesn't fit in here, man. And it wasn't really so much a me decision as much as it was an entire business decision. So I was going to put him on the 3-week training program so I can do an assessment for 3 weeks straight to see if we're getting better. And before I could even do that, he said, I'll just go back to Meineke. So name of the shoes, the ones that, come on, Ben, be nice, man. It's called Rock Rooster. The Rock Rooster, but these are the comfort ones. So there's a regular style that's a tighter style, and then the comfort ones are a wider style, and these are, it's Rock Rooster Cool Max inserts, but these are like comfort, acid resistant, oil resistant, slip resistant. It's some kind of comfort Rock Rooster boot. I love them. I was so happy to find a nicer pair of boots like this on Amazon instead of some junk boots and I've been wearing these every single day, all day. I don't wear my Crocs anymore at all. I always have these because every people on the channel all the time are like, "Oh, look at this guy wearing Crocs at work." Yeah, I'm the boss. I come to work in leisure clothes and stuff like that. I don't get dressed up like everybody else. I'm not a mechanic anymore. Like I am. I go back there and put out the fires that they can't put out. Do the programming and stuff. Do the harder jobs that they can't do. But or maybe that they need to learn, and I'll show them how to do it. But I was coming to work in my sweatpants and a hoodie and some uh, some Crocs because that's just because I can. And then eventually I was like, you know what? Some of these people are right. That is not setting a good example to everybody else. I'm gonna actually get a decent pair of work boots and stuff on. Start using gloves and safety glasses and stuff and safety shields and stuff all the time. So now I'm all about safety equipment everywhere, boots on, stuff like that. So I've changed my whole way of doing things. You'll like these. Anybody, if any of you get, how long do I think this is going to last? For another year? I think it is. Well, actually, I take that back. If what Abbott said is true, and he's going to lock the border down in March with his new law, lock the border down, be able to deport more people and make it illegal for all this. There's restrictions being put in place. March, things should slow down in March quite a bit. But it's in March. But yeah, these boots, if anybody, look at the Rock Rooster boots on Let me see if I can find them real quick. There's a specific style. Okay, you can actually go on Rock Rooster's page. And these are the boots that I have right here. They're a little bit cheaper, I think, on Rock Rooster's page. So they're Rock Rooster Bakken, 6-inch soft toe. They're slip on. These don't have the steel toe. I really like these a lot. AK 303s. Super comfortable. They have a really, really, really nice memory foam pad. It's a cooled style memory foam pad. Probably can't run in these. Yeah, you can. You can run in these. Wait, why was Vic timed out? What did he do? Yeah, unfortunately, leaving Chicago is not an option for me. No. Retta, he called you racist, so I blocked him. Well, you don't have the ability to block anybody because you're not a moderator, so I know you're playing around, but if you're wanting to play games and stuff like that, you can be removed from this channel as well, though, for trying to get somebody else in trouble. Okay. Well, here we go. Oh, I see what you mean. I didn't see the dude call me racist. Did he call me racist? If he called me racist, then you're good. Then he needs to go. But I thought he was pretty cool here. He's been here for a while. I don't know why he would be saying stuff like that. He ain't never said nothing like that to me. Oh, yeah, maybe. Anyway, I need to get off of here. I need to get back there in the shop and start working with these guys. Tom, moderator. Welcome, Tom, to the dark side. Super Duty 7.3 versus the 6.8. I don't really know yet. 7.3 is a decent engine if you can stop it from idling all the time. The 6.8 has always been, I would think that a 6.8 would be a pretty damn good engine, but I really don't know much about it yet. Hey, this is your brother from DC checking in. Happy New Year. Hey, Happy New Year. Okay, I need to get off of here. Chrysler 200, my money pit. Oh yeah, they are a money pit. And there's problems all the freaking time with them. Hey, everybody, thanks for the super chats this morning. I appreciate you tuning in. Again, just have a great day. Be blessed. Spend time with your family. Try to do something nice for somebody. Pay somebody a compliment. Hold the door for somebody. Check on somebody you haven't checked on in a while. Take care, everybody.